Annalise, two major policies of the Biden administration due on the same day.
Due and died on the same day. This has been an extraordinarily tough day for the Biden administration. Firstly, the Supreme Court ruling on this vaccine mandate. Now, there were two different aspects to this case. There was one for a vaccine mandate for health workers, but the other was a key part of the Biden administration's COVID response, and that was to require any companies with more than 100 employees to either have vaccine mandates for their staff or rigorous testing in its place. That was a key announcement of the Biden administration. The Supreme Court today now ruling that it's unconstitutional. In its statement, it said, although Congress has indisputably given OSHA the power to regulate occupational dangers, it has not given that agency the power to regulate public health more broadly. Requiring the vaccination of 84 million Americans selected simply because they work for employers with more than 100 employees certainly falls in the latter category. That's a major challenge for the Biden administration, under pressure right now with the lack of tests available, with a lack of access to healthcare in some states where the cases are spiking, but also because there's been more COVID deaths in 2021 than 2020, which shouldn't be the case when the vaccine program was taking off across the United States. The other major challenge for Joe Biden today was trying to push two key pieces of legislation. He wanted changes to how voting is regulated in America, which he's linked to being key for civil rights, because he says access to voting, it disproportionately impacts communities of colour. That would have required changes to the filibuster rules of needing 60 votes to pass the legislation. He was trying to fight for both. Today, both have died in the Capitol.
Who counts the vote? That's what this is about. That's what makes this so different than anything else we've ever done. I don't know that we can get it done, but I know one thing. As long as I have a breath in me, as long as I'm in the White House, as long as I'm engaged at all, I'm going to be fighting to change the way these legislatures have moved. Thank you.
But with two key Democratic holdouts in Manchin and Sinema, there's not really any options left for Joe Biden if he can't turn their votes. The other vote that we're watching today is the Nord Stream 2 pipeline sanctions, which have been pushed by Republican Senator Ted Cruz. He wants to move to sanction Russia over this now, but the option's not available to the White House, who wants to keep that in the case of the actual invasion of Ukraine. Now, this vote's underway at the moment. Sinema has just passed her vote saying that she's not going to support Ted Cruz, and so that means it is unlikely to pass, but by a very thin margin, showing just how tough a time the Biden administration's having keeping their agenda afloat.
A busy morning in the Capitol. Annalise, appreciate the update.